to cast a WarCraft 3 match. I am with the Team Sportscast Network, TSN, www.tsncentral.com. Check there for all of the action. And guys, we got a match coming up with a friend of mine. A player by the name of Gentho, Albert Berriz, versus NIcKuNJ BaNSaL, going by his nickname Final Element. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in this matchup. Gentho is currently not placed very well in his group. I believe he is near the bottom or at the bottom. I don't think he's won a game yet. So, you know, he really needs to start winning if he wants to move on. I think he's only played 2 games, so he has to win the rest of his games to move on, to go into the single elimination round. So he needs to be flawless for the rest of the time, I believe. But I could be wrong. I don't know how many games he's played as of yet. Looking from the site, it looks like he's played 2. He's lost both of those. So he's having a rough time here in Korea so far. With Final Element, he's got 1 win already. So I don't know, maybe he's faring a bit better in this group. Anyway, from what I can tell, the matchup is going to be Undead versus Night Elf. I believe it's something along those lines. I know Final Element can play either Night Elf or Human. I was talking to one of the members of 4 Kings, Myth, and he was letting me know that I believe he said he thinks that Final Element can play either Night Elf or Human. So we'll see what the matchup is going to be on this match. The map is going to be Duskwood, I believe. No, it's going to be Plunder Isle. Plunder Isle is the map here. And this is an interesting map, especially for the races that can be involved here. Night Elf and Undead probably have the best time on this map. The sheer closeness helps Night Elf players win, and the ability to use the dual auras that the Death Knight and the Dreadlord have really boost up the speed, and it's just very helpful on a small map like this. Anyway, Gentho looking very serious right now. He's a member of Team USA. Talk with him all the time. And he's a good guy. So I'm hoping, I'm rooting for him secretly, even though I'm not supposed to root for anyone. He's my friend. Gotta vote for my friend. So I believe we're just waiting on everyone to get started and ready up here. Match will be starting in a second. Let's run through some of the profile elements here for both players. Gentho, like I said, a member of Team USA. He got first place at WCG USA Finals, and he plays Undead. I don't think I've seen him play any other race. He does like going with very straightforward Undead strategies, choosing Crypt Fiends or, you know, Mass Ghouls, depending on what race he's playing. I know he plays the game a lot. Just about every time I log on to WarCraft 3, I see him online. And he takes the game very seriously. He loves the game. He plays it a lot. And I know he's been playing a lot of the recent expansion of WarCraft 3, which is the Frozen Throne. I know he's been playing that a lot. I'm also curious what WCG is going to do with that next year, and if they are going to make Frozen Throne the official game. So like I said before, the map is Plunder Isle. Gentho, always Undead. Final Element, I believe he can play either Night Elf or Human. Let's take a look at NIcKuNJ BaNSaL. NIcKuNJ BaNSaL. And he's just listing some of his past accomplishments here. I'm seeing that he was a chess gold medalist at school. I wonder what that means, if he just played some random kid in his school and one guy got the silver medal and one guy got the gold medal, and he was the guy that got the gold medal. But I don't know. He could have been in a big tournament, a big chess tournament, and won the gold medal there. He likes to change the strategy based on the opponent. Smart move. Smart move. A lot of players like to stick with one strategy and you know, change it depending on what the opponent does. And we're going to get things started in a second here for WarCraft 3. Again, this is Wax Steven of the Team Sportscast Network. And the game is going to start up in a second here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are underway. Genthone choosing Undead, and Final Element picking Human. Interesting choice on this map, going with Human. I gotta say, it's probably the most difficult race on this map, just because of the sheer difficulty that humans have in the beginning. I've seen some players stick with the fast expansion strategy that most human players are known for, jumping into the middle islands there, those hills, and building those expansions up as fast as possible. So I'm very curious to see what Final Element is going to do here. If he sticks with the standard human strategies, which tend to be Archmage first. Getting a look right now at some of Gentho's click speed. He likes to keep his click speed very high up, try and keep things moving as fast as possible. A lot of the top players do that here in Korea as well. It's more, in my opinion, I think it's really necessary for StarCraft, but I don't think it really applies so much here in WarCraft 3. I've seen a lot of top players with very low actions per minute, and you know, I think after a certain point it stops being essential in this game. Anyway, some scouting right now by Gentho. Gentho likes to send out his 6th Acolyte. He does make a 6th Acolyte with the express purpose of scouting. Right now, taking a look at his buildings, he's just completed his Altar of Darkness, and he will be choosing a Dreadlord to start things off. Not a bad choice on this map, Dreadlord with that vampiric aura. Very handy indeed. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I tend to like the Death Knight, but versus Human, the Dreadlord is a good choice. Sometimes you need to stick with a strategy that's good for a specific race. You know, you find the strategies best against a race instead of what strategy is good on a map. So, trying to counter your opponent rather than trying to play the map your way. Anyway, the Archmage has just come out now for Final Element. He is moving around the map, going to start creep hunting in a second here. Water Elementals probably being his spell of choice to start things off, as most human players go with. And there he goes. Water Elementals out now, bringing over some militia to help him creep hunt. And now Gentho with his Dreadlord out. He's got 5 ghouls to assist him in his creep hunting adventure. Obviously, Dreadlord's still level 1. And Gentho out creep hunting. Final Element creep hunting a little bit faster. He's almost level 2 already on his Archmage. Creep hunted some of the larger creeps. And it looks like we've got the keep being researched already for the human player. Final Element, trying to get to the second tier as fast as possible, probably for some casters. Very good versus just about any race, except maybe another human. Even in that case, it's still used quite a bit. Gentho right now looking very, very positive. He's trying to maintain his focus. He's still scouting with that Acolyte, looking for any possible fast expansions. He really wants to keep an eye on that fast expansion from Final Element, and he's not seeing it. Final Element trying to get his tech going. He is trying to get that second tier as fast as possible. Final Element's not very old. I'm looking at his profile right now. May 11th, 1990 is his birthday. He's a young guy. He's 13 years old, folks. That's pretty dang young for WCG, but that just shows you that there's players from all over the world, all different ages. Gaming is a genre that is not limited by your physical attributes. Well, for the most part. Anyway, Gentho looking very serious. He's trying to creep hunt as fast as possible. Getting a fast expo up, or a relatively fast one up. Expansion going right now. He's got an Acolyte over by that expo. And looks like he's possibly going to do a little bit of an attack here on the expo for Final Element. Gento making his way over to that portion of the map right now, through the middle, and he will run into the units of Final Element. Let's see what Final Element can do here in this matchup. I'm curious to see how well he can handle himself in battle and who's got the better micro. Gento now trying to sleep the Archmage. He does sleep the Archmage. Good surround here, and the Archmage will have to TP. No! Gento leaving a spot open and another sleep on the Archmage. He had to waste 2 sleeps there. Now going after the Archmage. Final Element going to have to town portal away, and there he goes. He gets several free hits, though, with his Water Elemental and forces Gento to try and retreat a little bit. He lost a ghoul there. Thanks to that Water Elemental and his really powerful attack. Gento trying to keep Final Element on the defensive, going after the possible Expo that Final Element was throwing up. I saw him over in that area. I don't think he's going with an Expo, though. Gento probably not used to that. A lot of the human players still like to go fast expansion, even on certain maps like Plunder Isle. So it's looking right now like a Paladin has just come out for Final Element. A Paladin, that's right, I said a Paladin, not a Mountain King. Gento probably not used to the strategy. You do not see Paladin here very often, but he is being used this time. Paladin for some healing, most likely. No, it looks like he's being used for Devotion Aura? No, that's a Brilliance Aura. That's a Brilliance Aura. Haunted Goldmine gonna be finished here soon for Gento. Gento scouting around looking for any expansion in the Far Island spot here on Plunder Isle. He's trying to get a Death Knight out as his second hero choice. He's been staying very low on the unit count. Now it looks like he's invading the main base of Final Element. I do not think Final Element has a town portal scroll, but he's running back to his base, trying to get into position here. Gento's going to move his ghouls as best as he can here, and uh-oh, he might be getting his Dreadlord stuck. No, Final Element not able to surround the Dreadlord. Dreadlord getting away for Gento. Gento, 535 hit points there, and he's retreating again. Just trying to put a little early pressure on Final Element. Final Element still okay, really. You just try and put a little early pressure on human players. Gento just trying to reposition himself. Starts to creep hunt, which could be a bad mistake, as Final Element going to come on his behind and force Gento to retreat a little bit more. Gento looks like he does not have the concentration that I normally see him play with. Final Element looks very calm. Gento now with the Death Knights coming up with 5 extra ghouls. Gento getting that expansion up. He's got 2 Ziggurats going up, trying to get those to Spirit Towers as fast as possible. And if Gento keeps this expansion up, he could be in good shape for the later game. He's been keeping some okay pressure on his opponent and still getting that fast expo up. So now it looks like he's running into Final Element. Fairly even forces here. Gento now leading Final Element up onto the hill. And Final Element will see those Spirit Towers trying to be thrown up. He will get a couple free hits there on the Spirit Tower. Gento leading the Archmage up the hill and surrounds the Archmage. The Archmage still has a Town Portal Scroll. He's not using yet. He's being healed by the Paladin. Paladin being slept. And it's looking like Gento is going after that Archmage, or at least trying to. Archmage taking some big hits right now. About 100 HP now. Archmage goes down. That's got to sting. Final Element not using his Town Portal Scroll there. Losing his Archmage. Apparently he's not paying attention. And now Gento's in some hot water, as he does have practically no ghouls left in this situation. He's bringing over more ghouls from his base. Paladin levels up for Final Element. Paladin at level 2 now. Doing a little bit of healing here on some ghouls in the red. And it's looking like Gento is taking some hits here on his Dreadlord. He's going to have to move his Dreadlord out. And I don't think he's been coiling that really. And right now, it looks like Gento has a slight advantage after taking out that Archmage. He's got his Spirit Towers up. He's got his expansion going. I don't see an expansion for Final Element. And as most people know, if you don't have an expansion late game versus somebody who does, you're in a lot of trouble. You got to take the fast expo people out fast if you want to make sure you grab the late win, or you grab the win at all. Because grabbing that late win versus somebody with a fast expo is just really difficult to do, especially when you're at the level of play that these people of WCG are. Anyway, Gentho right now with a level 1 Death Knight. I believe he's got a level 2 Dreadlord. And some of his Spirit Towers attacking these Ogres as he's going to creep hunt those guys a little bit. Getting the Ogre Lord, gets himself a level 3 Dreadlord now. Still level 1 on that Death Knight. He's also picked himself up a useful item indeed, Talisman of the Wild. Not terribly useful versus most human players if they get Priests. Can be dispelled very easily. But so far it's looking like Final Element is sticking with Sorks as the main support unit. He's going with, which is a good strategy versus ghouls, but as soon as Gentho gets those kobolds out of, or furbolgs out of the Talisman of the Wild, Final Element's going to be in a little bit of trouble. So far it's looking like Gentho is just sticking with the ghoul situation. I don't know if he's getting a lick yet, or if he's sticking with the dual hero. He's picked himself up some healing scrolls, might be sticking with mass ghouls. We could see a third hero coming from him. I know a lot of the Korean players like to go tri-hero and mass ghouls because of the intense micro it requires when playing at the top level and playing it really well. We've got some priests coming out right now for Final Element. Just going to be tough to deal with in general. Priests and Sorks being some of the best spellcasters in the game, if not the best, and a lot of human players use them for that reason. Castle being upgraded right now for Final Element. Gentho doing a little bit of scouting right now with his Death Knight, oddly enough. He does have that Death Knight inside the base of Final Element right now, just kind of scouting around. He's got himself a level 3 Dreadlord, and I do not know what his Death Knight's doing up inside the base of Final Element, just doing a little bit of scouting still. Now he's going after some of the peasants of Final Element. He's going to kill off one of them. No, good surround there by the peasants. Gentho starting to crank out some gargoyles right now. Good choice there. A very good choice. If the Sorks decide to switch over to Polymorph and start polymorphing the gargoyles, then it's going to be a nice waste of mana. Anyway, Gentho, level 4 now on his Dreadlord, keeping the creeping going, as Final Element doing the same thing. He's trying to get his Archmage leveled up. I believe he's got a Paladin at level 3 now. Paladin is very underestimated in WarCraft 3, and I do not know why. Well, actually I do. That's kind of a lie. He's kind of bad early on in the game, but later on, trying to kill the Paladin is insanely hard. And I know Gentho knows that, so he's going to have to start kicking his game into overdrive here and start to put some pressure on his opponent. More gargoyles coming over right now for Gentho as he continues his creep hunting. 1-in-1 upgrades on his ghouls. He's got his items full here on that Dreadlord. He's picked himself up Boots of Speed. Death Knight level 2, doing a little bit of peon harassment there on Final Element. Final Element basically ignoring that, but now he runs into the Death Knight here. Does a slow on the Death Knight. Gentho going to have to use a Town Portal Scroll there, as he was not prepared for that to happen, forcing him to use that Town Portal Scroll and cost him several hundred gold. So now it's looking like Gentho is just doing a little bit of regrouping. Final Element, possibly going to be doing a push shortly. Level 3 on his Archmage. Picked himself up a Fell Hunter. Fellhound, also known as the Fellhound in the older patches. I don't know why they changed that. They changed a couple items names and a couple units names. But anyway, level 3 on both the heroes right now for Final Element. This game is looking fairly even, but I think now Gentho is going to start to have the advantage. He does have that expansion up, but Final Element looks like he's going to put a little bit of pressure now on Gentho. Gentho might let this stay. No, Final Element just summoning a Water Elemental, trying to go after the expansion. Gentho might just leave that as he starts to creep hunt the dragons here on Plunder Isle, trying to get the high-level items. Gets himself a Ring of Protection +5. Very useful for the Death Knight to have. And Gentho will lose his expansion here. He's not able to teleport back. He does not have an Acropolis up, but he's got some very well-placed Spirit Towers, and he's microing very well, getting his Acolytes there to save those as best as is humanly possible. And Paladin healing the Archmage, and Final Element giving up on that expansion. He's running away. He's running away from the Spirit Towers. Excellent placement there by Gentho. And Now Gento with a very nice army. He's got a very high unit count. 2-1 on the upgrades to his gargoyles. He's got about 12 gargoyles right now. And he runs into the units of Final Element. Final Element with his paladin out in front. Sleep on the Archmage. And the Archmage is in a lot of trouble, being forced to town portal away. Gento now focus firing on the paladin. Paladin using the divine shield and blocking Gento from focus firing on it. Final Element now trying to regroup inside of his main base. Gento with a very nice economy going and a lot of units. He's got that expansion up. It is stable. He's still got himself some casts of the Talisman of the Wild. And now Gento heading for the other red dragons. Using this gargoyle strategy on Plunder Isle seems to be working very well for him. Picking himself up some extremely good items. Crown of Kings +5 now. No! 2 rings of protection +5. The Death Knight has an amazing amount of armor. +10 armor on that Death Knight. He is not dying. Wow. Excellent, excellent creeping here by Gento. Very nice strategy here. That Death Knight is almost invulnerable to attack at this point. More gargoyles and ghouls coming out for Gento. He's playing things very safe so far. He's lost 2 matches in his group, and I know he does not want to lose another. He wants to move on to the single elimination round here at the Grand Finals of WCG 2003. Final Element looks like he's going to try and make another push here on the expansion base of Gento. Gento repositioning himself as the Paladin comes up front. Paladin using Divine Shield. Sleep on the Archmage. And, focus fire here on the what looks to be some of Knights. Inferno being summoned. And here we go. Inferno working over the casters of Final Element. Final Element using a protection scroll here. Or no, that's Gento using a protection scroll. And the Paladin being slept. Final Element saying GG. Gento returning the favor. Final Element realizes this game is over. And Gento is going to take the win over Final Element. Excellently played by Gento. Smart play, keeping those gargoyles as the mainstay of his army, just getting that expo up, getting those gargoyles created, and creeping those dragons as fast as possible. Excellent job by Gento. And I believe we have ourselves a Brood War match coming up shortly. 17:30 Korean time, which is going to be 5:30 here p.m. So, that is going to be in about an hour or so from now, maybe hour and a half. So be sure to tune in as I, Christopher Wax Steven Ionetti, will be casting all day for you guys from TSN, www.tsncentral.com.
이로써 미국의 엘리버트 델리 선수는 22패를 기록하면서 32강 진출을 할 수 있는 마지막 불씨를 살린 셈이 되고요. 인도의 니쿤 반살 선수는 1승 2패를 기록하면서 아쉽긴 하지만 어떻게든 본선에 올라갈 수 있는 희망을 남았습니다. 이번 경기에 미국의 엘리버트 델리 선수가 승리했다는 소식을 알려드리면서 저희 게임을 물러가도록 하겠습니다. 계속해서 이어지는 승리입니다. 여기는 올림픽 동안